Got some shirts now. Check me out, check me out, check me out. Got some shirts. 199. Pray for me. Seriously, pray for me. I know you can't see it. Let me stand up a little bit. Maybe you can see it good. Like now, pray for me. Seriously, like now. My daughter's trying to convince, my wife is trying to convince me, that's too girly. You know what? I'm rocking this bad boy. If my manhood is limited to a little bit of glitter, then I must not be a man at all. My name is Brian Keith. Welcome to episode number 458 of the Dime Devotional Daily. Inspiration, motivation, and exhortation. I am dropping dimes at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check out my website, briankeith360.com. But also check out the blog, imightbeaprofit.com. That soon may become private, so you better check it out while you got a chance. Tonight's episode is entitled, Can You Handle the Harvest? Can you handle the harvest? Let me get my teleprompter working and I will be right with you. Man, thank you so much for joining. If you're joining on replay, if you want a shirt, got to get you one. If you want a shirt, in fact, they're coming out. Support me. I'm not big on asking for that, but I recognize that you got bills to pay, Mr. Thomas. You got bills to pay, Mr. Brian Keith. So you might as well ask the people who want to take part. It's not for everybody, but if you want to take part, feel free. And they're coming out soon, so I'll be letting you know. They're on pre-order now, but if you like this shirt, let me know in the comments that you might be interested in one. So in January of this year, I decided to go all in on my speaking business. No more games, no more playing. I was going to give it 100% of my energy and start to attract those keynote speaking opportunities. Hey, how you doing, Miss T? Hey, I was just on your site. On your Instagram site. I like some stuff. I see you got some sales going on, but praise God for you. So 2020, I decided to go all in on the speaking. I've already been doing mentoring and coaching for years informally, but I decided this year to go all in on it. So 2020 is my year to finally do what God put me on this earth to do. Now, for whatever reason, things did not go as planned. Or better yet, let me say it this way. And there's several reasons why I could say, but my expectations were not met. I feel like I could be further along right now. And it's been a little bit disappointing. I could talk about the pandemic. I could even talk about the economic conditions. I could talk about the civil unrest. Or I can say what I really believe it is. I secretly, if I'm telling you the truth, secretly deep down, I believe I might not be as good as I think. Secretly deep down, maybe the people are just not that into you. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe it has nothing to do with any of those things. And all of this is going through my head. If I'm honest with you, and I always try to be, my superpower is transparency. And I always seem to shake it off. I always seem to get it out of my head with the right person. Somehow comes by the right person at the right time with the right message. And there was a speaker who I was listening to today. Today's one of those great examples. And he said something profound. He was talking about, and in fact, it wasn't just him. It's been several esteemed communicators in my circle have expressed the same depression, the same lack of motivation, the same something that's going on in the atmosphere. And the remedy for this one particular person was that he was to go back in time. He went back to his grandfather's church and he sat on the pew. And in that moment, he was reminded of all the prayers, all the prophetic words, all the things that God had spoken to him, through him, and over him by his grandfather, by his mother, by his father. And it inspired me to take my own trip down memory lane. I live in Dallas and I'm from Dallas, so I had the benefit of just simply hopping in the car. So I drove by, the first thing I did was I drove by the middle school. This is the first place that I found out that I wasn't cool. So I found out that I wasn't cool in middle school. What's up, Jacob Dynamite, super duper car salesman of the world. I drove by the middle school where I found out that I wasn't cool. Then I drove by the house that I grew up in for the most part. Saw that house, drove by that neighborhood. All those houses look so different. And I remember running around those streets. I drove through that neighborhood where I drove my bike and rode, skateboards and all this different stuff. And then I finally went to the elementary school where I spent 6 years of my life. All these memories are coming back to me. I drive down the back street. I drive down the alley and I see where I used to play kickball, and I see where I used to do all of these things. And I'm telling you all of this for a reason. I'm telling you that every hope, every dream inside you, every goal, every promise, everything that's inside you, it is guaranteed. Everything inside me is guaranteed if we do one thing. We don't quit. But it's also guaranteed if we do another thing. If we do quit, it's guaranteed not to work. Ooh, I'm going to talk to you in just a minute, Miss Terica. Miss Terica, in just a second, I want to talk to you. I hope we can interview in just a moment. And so, as I'm listening, as I'm going through this moment, going down memory lane, I need to get my teleprompter ready. As I'm going through this memory lane, I recognize that it's not really happening to me, but it's actually happening for me. So I'm seeing this thing that other people are dealing with. This, we'll call it a depression. We'll call it a darkness. I'm going through this not because of something I've done wrong, but I'm actually going through this because of something I've done right. It's not something that I've neglected. Don't get me wrong, it could be, but it could be because there's a territory that needs to be broadened. So let me give you this. And I want to make sure, because my notes are so good and I cannot get this teleprompter to work. I want to apologize. I'm not sure what is going on. Give me 1 second, guys, because this message is hot. Just want to keep it all the way real with you. What in the world is going on? Hold on. You did this to me yesterday. It's time to fire you. Gotta just go off the dome, then we'll just keep it. It's in my heart. So, at any rate, this is so frustrating.
Hi, this is Michael Drop for Easy.
This is frustrating. Okay, sorry guys. Hold on, give me 1 second. Trying to get this right now. I think I'm ready.
Prompter, and I'm going to talk about offline operation.
Nope. I don't know who he is.
Offline operation means...
Sorry guys. This is going down fast. So that's not working. So we can't use that. Let me just switch it up. Hopefully you pulled it up here. Got some great notes. Yep, there we are. Good. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. So there we are. We are here. Let's do it like that. Okay, so this is the spot where I'm talking about this church that I had gone to, right? This is the church where not only was it my church in my school, I'd been there for 6 years, but it was a place where I met Christ. It was a place where I just began to understand certain things about myself. At 10 years old, I remember very clearly accepting Christ in that year, but also I remember starting on this journey of sexual addiction in that same year. And thank you for bearing with me. And so I'm remembering this moment. These are some very unique moments around this particular piece of property. That land, that space and place in time represents a lot for me. And so I'm driving down the alley and I'm seeing where I lost my glasses and my mama whooped me. I'm seeing where Shanika ran faster than me, even though she was the only girl in school, only girl in my class. She was a faster girl in my class. And I'm seeing all of this stuff. I saw Mark, who I didn't think could run at all, but he was actually faster than me. And I see Eddie and I see Freddie and I see Curtis and I see all these people that I went to school with. And I realized that we were in a very unique position, because this is where not only did we accept Christ, but this is a space and place where we first found out about the Holy Spirit. And it wasn't just about an experience. It wasn't just about it's not land to me. It's not just a building to me. Actually, eventually what happened was the church part burned down, but the school part is still up. It wasn't just something that I went through. I'm telling you this for a reason, because I believe that, and as I alluded to before, but I want to make sure I'm clear, every hope, every desire, every passion, every dream, every promise, all of this stuff is in us, and it's in us for a reason. And if we simply make a decision, the decision could be either to stay or to go, to continue to move forward or to stop. Either way, it's going to be guaranteed. If we decide to walk away from the situation, then that is going to be the outcome. But if we decide to stay, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do, and that's what I'm also encouraging myself to do, is to stand flat-footed in the middle of the storm and to do what we said we were going to do. In fact, my name is Brian Keith, and I'm reporting to you from the midst of the storm. And I've come to tell you that your harvest is still coming. Your harvest is still coming, despite the depression, despite the darkness, despite the defeat, despite all the things that are going on around you that may feel like they're happening against you. But I want you to realize something. They're not happening against you. They're actually happening for you. But there is a challenge. What's the challenge? As I reflected on the fact that this harvest time is coming, I understood something about the harvest time. See, the harvest time is not a time to chill. It's not a time to take it easy. It's not a time to take a break. The harvest time is actually work. It's work because your fruit that you've been laboring for is now being ripened, and it's ripening at a very specific time. As it ripens, there are three factions that are competing because you only have a limited amount of time to receive the harvest. The harvest is not a time to chill. The harvest is a moment when you work. The moment when you work. And so you got to realize that there are three competitors, three factions that are competing for what you've worked for. The thing that this is your thing. This is your seed. You've sowed this seed, and now it is being ripened in front of your eyes, and your harvest season is upon you. But there are three things, three things that are competing for your harvest against you. Number one, it is the insects. If you don't get the fruit off the vine fast enough, or the vegetables off the vine fast enough, then you are giving the insects the permission to come in and eat your harvest. What do the insects represent? They represent the small distractions and the small offenses. It represents the small things. But then there's a second thing that comes to take your harvest, and that thing are the animals. They are coming too. They smell the ripened fruit as well, the ripened vegetables as well, and they're coming. Why? They're coming because they're hungry too. They are surviving as well, and this represents the competitors. This represents the things that are competing for your time, your energy, and your gifting. You only have so much. Now, yeah, I will say time. The only thing, your time, your energy, your time, and your giftedness is competing for those things. But you also got to realize that, and I'm talking about your attention for time. But there's also a third competitor as it relates to your harvest, and that is time itself. It is a duration. There is a limited window. There is a short window in which you can reap it. It becomes ripe at one point, and it will become rotten at another point. If you don't move quickly enough, even if the pests don't come, even if the animals don't come, it will rotten on the vine if you don't move fast enough. And so my question to you, which is the question I pose to myself, maybe the delay in my harvest has nothing to do with the pandemic. Maybe the delay in my harvest has nothing to do with the economics. Maybe the delay in my harvest has nothing to do with any of those things. Maybe the delay in my harvest has to do with the fact that I'm not prepared. Maybe it has a fact to do with that I'm not ready for the harvest. I don't have the right systems in place. I don't have the right plan in place for the harvest. You do know that the easiest way, the best way to ruin your name is to be too much too soon. You do know that. The best way that you can ruin a business is to become too much early on in the business. And now you've taken on too much, and now you can't handle the weight of the pressure of success, the pressure of doing it right. And now all of these things are coming to you all at one time, and you don't have the systems in place. You don't have the right character. You don't have the right integrity. And now you can't handle the thing you said God called you to, because we didn't take the time to prepare. I wonder if the delay, not you, me, if the delay in my harvest has to do with the fact that my heart has not been prepared. You got to hear what I'm saying. Maybe the delay in my harvest has nothing to do with all those things I mentioned. It's not the racial tension. It's not social injustice. It's not the economic. It's not the pandemic. But maybe it's BK. Maybe Brian Keith is not ready for the harvest because I'm not prepared, because I don't have a plan in place. Let me give you three ways to get ready for the harvest. Now, mind you, I'm speaking to you from the center of the storm. I'm not speaking to you from a perspective of I've arrived. I'm not speaking to you from the perspective of I know the answer. I'm speaking to you from the perspective of I need to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. Transparency is my superpower. At least one of them. Point number one, how to ready yourself for the harvest. How to ready yourself for the harvest. Number one, the delay. The delay is not the denial. A delay is not a denial. Your time was preset. Say it again because it didn't come out clear. A delay is not a denial. A delay is not a denial. Your time was preset. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before the forming in your mother's womb, I foreknew you. So all that you were to go through, your purpose precedes your person. So then all the things that happen to your person, which are the traumas and the depressions and the people who walked away and the rejections and the abandonment and the I'm sorry to say, but the abuse, sexual abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse, all of those things came after your purpose, not before. So that means that this is the thing, that means that those things have occurred in our lives, not against us, but actually for us, because they are part of, their breadcrumbs in the purpose. They're breadcrumbs in what we're supposed to be trying to do, what we're here to solve, the unique problem in us, the unique answer to the problems in us are specifically connected to the challenges we've seen over our lifetime. Number two, the first one was delay is not a denial. Number two is this: get your house in order. Ooh. I can tell you we've been working on this one. We've done good with the debt. We've done good with our relationship. We've done good. We've got some opportunities though. I can still put some systems in place. I know what my core values are, but there's still some systems I can put in place, and I'm putting one in now for the harvest. I'm preparing my heart for the harvest. Maybe the delay has nothing to do with how good you are. Maybe the delay has nothing to do with if what you're saying to the people is powerful. Maybe the delay is not connected to the pandemic or connected to the economic unrest or connected to the civil unrest. Maybe the delay is connected to the fact that your heart is not ready for the harvest. It's time to save some money. It's time to get your credit score right. It's time to put the systems in place. What payment system do you have in place for the harvest that is coming? What is the distribution system that you have in place that is coming? What system do you have in place to establish your values in the world? What are your core vices that you promise? So your core values are what you stand for, and your core vices are what you fall for. Do you know what they are? Have you established them in such a way to where I would never cross this particular line? I would never go another further than this particular thing. If you don't know what they are, if they're not ironclad, then you're going to forsake them because you don't know what they are. You got to have them laid out. Point number three, and I'm almost done. Thank you so much for listening. How to ready yourself for the harvest. How to ready yourself for the harvest. Maybe my 2020 hasn't been all that I expected it to be, not because of something I haven't done right. I've done it all right. There's nothing wrong with the cooking, but I haven't prepared the kitchen. I haven't prepared myself for, what do they call it? Scale. I haven't prepared myself for scale. Maybe you're great at being a one-off cook. You're great at preparing a meal or two, but are you ready for scale? Are you ready for scale? Point number three, and I'm almost done. It's not about you, Brian Keith. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me, and maybe it'll benefit you in your hearing. It's not about you, Brian Keith. It's all about him. It's all about God. It's all about his purpose that he established before I hit my mother's womb, before my purpose or before my person, there was a purpose. And so all that I've gone through as a person was designed to point to my purpose. So my purpose is not something I find, but something that finds me. And if I continue on the path, if I can just refuse to quit, then the guarantee is there. If I just refuse not to quit, it's not about me, Brian Keith. It's all about him, and it's all about them. So let me say that again. It's all about him, who is God, and it's all about them, the people who are going to benefit from the words that are coming out of your mouth, the people who are going to benefit from the talents, abilities, gifts, and skills, all the people who are going to benefit for the products and the services that you produce, all the people who are going to benefit from the testimony that you express in the world. Those are the people that it's not about you, Brian Keith. If I knew your name, I'd say it. It's not about you, Mary. It's not about you, Ann. It's not about you, Takara. It's not about you, Jacob. It's not about you. It's about him, and it's about them. It's about the people who are supposed to benefit from the words that are coming out of your mouth, from you overcoming the thing, from you solving the problem, and now writing out the blueprint, for you now having a heart of empathy to love, and for you having the discernment which gives you the clarity to know when people are moving forward and when they're moving backward. It's not about you, but it's about him and about them. And so here's my last thing, and it's going to be hard to hear. Please take it for what it is. Please get over yourself, Brian Keith. Woo. Please, Brian Keith, and you insert your name. Please get over yourself. Please, Jacob, get over yourself. Please, Terica, get over yourself. Please get over yourself, because it's not about you. It's all about him, and it's all about them. How to prepare for harvest. Maybe the harvest is delayed, not because of the economic unrest, not because of the civil unrest, not because of the health unrest, but maybe because of your heart's unrest. Maybe we're not prepared to receive the harvest. You got to hear what I'm saying. My name is Brian Keith. Thank you so much for staying with me through the difficulty of the teleprompter. I love you so much. Hey, if you want a shirt, let me know. We got them coming.